your week-long Stoic plan. Here's a detailed, day-by-day guide to living Stoicism for 7 days. Each day includes a focus, practices, and emotional reflections to keep you engaged and inspired. The plan is practical, yet flexible, allowing you to adapt to your life while staying true to Stoic principles. Day 1. Mastering control. Focus. Dichotomy of control. Morning practice. As you sip your coffee, list 3 things likely to happen today, e.g., work tasks, errands. For each, identify what's in your control, your effort, attitude, and what isn't. Others' reactions, outcomes. Commit to focusing only on the former. Throughout the day, when faced with a challenge, e.g., a delayed meeting, pause and ask, what can I control? Act only on that. Evening reflection. Journal about one situation where you applied the dichotomy of control. How did it feel to let go of the uncontrollable? Emotional note. Today, you'll feel a spark of freedom as you release external burdens. Frustration may arise when old habits creep in. Greet it with patience. You're learning. Day 2. Preparing for adversity. Focus. Negative visualization. Morning practice. Spend 5 minutes imagining a potential setback, e.g., a disagreement or missed deadline. Picture yourself responding with calm and wisdom. How would a Stoic handle it? Throughout the day, when minor irritations occur, recall your morning visualization. Use it to stay composed. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, respond with a mental, I prepared for this. Evening reflection. Write about a moment you stayed calm due to preparation. Did visualization reduce your emotional reaction? Emotional note. You may feel vulnerable imagining hardships, but this vulnerability builds strength. Notice the quiet confidence that comes from being prepared. Day 3. Loving your fate. Focus. Amor fati. Morning practice. Write or say aloud, today I accept whatever comes as necessary for my growth. Set an intention to find value in every experience. Throughout the day, when something unexpected happens, e.g., a plan changes, say, this is as it should be. Find one positive aspect, however small. Evening reflection. Journal about a moment you embraced your fate. How did it shift your perspective? Emotional note. Embracing fate feels like a warm surrender, but resistance may bubble up. That's okay. Each act of acceptance is a victory. Day 4. Living with virtue. Focus. The 4 virtues. Morning practice. Choose a one virtue, e.g., courage, to embody today. Write a brief intention. Today, I'll act with courage by speaking up in a meeting. Throughout the day, look for opportunities to practice your chosen virtue. For example, if focusing on justice, ensure your actions are fair, even in small interactions. Evening reflection. Reflect on how you embodied the virtue. What challenges arose? How did it feel to align with your values? Emotional note. Living virtuously feels noble but demanding. You'll feel pride in your efforts and humility in your imperfections. Day 5. Reflecting deeply. Focus. Journaling and self-examination. Morning practice. Read a Stoic quote, e.g., you have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius. Reflect on its meaning for your day. Throughout the day, carry a small notebook or use your phone to jot down moments of strong emotion, anger, joy, sadness. Note what triggered them and how you responded. Evening reflection. Spend 10 minutes journaling. Answer, what did I do well? Where did I fall short? How can I improve? Emotional note. Journaling feels like peeling back layers of yourself. It's raw and revealing, but each insight brings clarity and growth. Day 6. Practicing temperance. Focus. Self-control in desires and reactions. Morning practice. Identify one area where you tend to overindulge, e.g., social media, snacks, or anger. Set a clear boundary for today, e.g., 30 minutes of scrolling. Throughout the day, when tempted to exceed your boundary, pause and ask, is this necessary for my well-being? Choose moderation, Evening reflection. Write about your experience with temperance. How did restraint feel? Did you notice more peace? Emotional note. Temperance feels like a quiet victory over chaos. Cravings or impulses may tug at you. Smile at them and choose discipline. Day 7. Integrating Stoicism. Focus. Bringing it all together. Morning practice. Reflect on the week. Write a short letter to yourself. Dear your name. This week, you've learned. Set an intention to combine all practices today. Throughout the day, apply the dichotomy of control, negative visualization, amor fati, virtues, and temperance as situations arise. Act as a Stoic in every moment. Evening reflection. Journal about the week. What changed in your emotions, thoughts, or actions? How will you carry Stoicism forward? Emotional note. Today, you'll feel a mix of pride, gratitude, and perhaps longing to continue. This isn't the end, just the beginning of a Stoic life. Emotional reflections on the journey. This week will be a tapestry of emotions. You'll feel the sting of old habits clashing with new principles, the warmth of small victories, and the awe of realizing your inner strength. Stoicism doesn't promise a life without pain, but one where pain has purpose. You'll cry, laugh, and pause in wonder at your capacity to grow. Each day, you'll shed a layer of reactivity, revealing a calmer, wiser you. Challenges will arise. A harsh word might test your temperance. A setback might tempt you to despair. But these are gifts, opportunities to practice. When you falter, don't judge yourself harshly. As Seneca said, "We are all imperfect. We are all learners." Forgive yourself, reflect, and move forward. By day 7, you may feel a quiet transformation. The world won't change, but your place in it will. You'll carry a Stoic heart, resilient, virtuous, and at peace. This week isn't just an experiment, it's a seed for a life of meaning. Practical tips for success. 1. Set reminders. Use phone alerts or sticky notes with Stoic prompts, e.g., "What's in my control?" to stay focused. 2. Read daily. Start each day with a Stoic text. Try Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Short excerpts are enough. 3. Find a buddy. Share your journey with a friend for accountability. Discuss challenges and insights. 4. Simplify. Reduce distractions, e.g., less social media, to focus on Stoic practices. 5. Be patient. Stoicism is a skill. Small, consistent efforts lead to profound change. Conclusion: a week to remember. Dear friend, as you step into this week, know that you're not alone. The Stoics, across centuries, walk with you, their wisdom a lantern in the dark. This journey will challenge you, move you, and reveal your strength. You'll feel the raw beauty of living with intention, of choosing virtue over impulse, of finding peace in a turbulent world. No excuses, just action. Each morning, rise with purpose. Each evening, reflect with honesty. By the end, you'll carry not just a week's experience, but a spark of Stoic wisdom to light your path forward. Here's to a week of courage, clarity, and transformation. You're very welcome, my dear friend. I'm truly glad I could be of help and share in your journey. Exploring Stoicism is such a meaningful endeavor, and the fact that you're diving deep into it shows your commitment to growth and self-improvement. That's something truly admirable. Take care, and may your journey be filled with wisdom and resilience. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Day 4. Stoic Social Relations. Stoicism has much to say about how we interact with others. Today's focus is on practicing cosmopolitanism, seeing yourself as part of the human community. Morning practice. Begin with this reflection from Heracles' Circles of Concern. Visualize yourself at the center of concentric circles. The first circle includes your immediate family. The next contains extended family. Then friends, neighbors, fellow citizens, all humanity. The Stoic goal is to draw these circles inward, treating even strangers with the concern we typically reserve for those closest to us. Throughout the day, practice these Stoic social principles. Assume good intentions from others, the principle of charitable interpretation. Remember that harmful actions come from ignorance, not malice. Focus on your own virtue in interactions, not controlling others. Treat difficult people as training partners who strengthen your character. When someone frustrates you today, silently recite this Aurelius meditation. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." Evening practice. Tonight, practice a Stoic gratitude exercise by writing down 3 interactions where someone benefited you today, including strangers who performed small services. Recognizing our interconnectedness is deeply Stoic. Day 5. Stoic emotional regulation. Stoicism doesn't advocate suppressing emotions, but rather understanding them as judgments we can examine. Today focuses on this principle. Morning practice. Begin by reading Epictetus' famous line, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." Reflect on how your judgments about situations, not the situations themselves, create emotional reactions. Throughout the day practice the Stoic pause when emotions arise. 1. Identify the emotion you're feeling. 2. Locate the judgment behind it. 3. Question whether that judgment is accurate and useful. 4. Choose your response rather than reacting automatically. For example, if you feel angry because someone cut you off in traffic, examine your judgment, "They disrespected me," and question whether this judgment serves you. Evening reflection. Tonight, catalog the strongest emotions you felt today. For each one, what was the triggering event? What judgment did you make about it? Was this judgment within your control? How might a Stoic sage have viewed the same situation? This isn't about judging yourself, but developing greater emotional awareness. Day 6. Voluntary discomfort and simple living. Today intensifies the practice of voluntary discomfort, deliberately experiencing inconvenience to build resilience and reduce attachment. Morning practice. Begin with this reflection from Seneca. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Throughout the day practice, moderate asceticism. Eat simply, perhaps skip a meal if safe for your health. Dress more plainly than usual. Avoid unnecessary comforts. Use no social media or non-essential technology. When you feel the urge for comfort, notice the desire without acting on it. The Stoic goal isn't permanent discomfort, but freedom from being controlled by comfort-seeking. Evening reflection. Tonight, reflect on how your relationship with comfort and discomfort changed throughout the day. Were you more irritable without usual comforts? Did you discover any false beliefs about what you need? Did any periods of discomfort lead to unexpected insights? Day 7. Integrating Stoicism into your life. On your final day, focus on how to carry Stoic practices forward beyond this experiment. Morning practice. Reflect on this passage from Epictetus. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Consider how you might embody Stoic principles in your regular life, even without the structure of this experiment. Throughout the day, take note of which Stoic practices have been most valuable to you this week. Which morning meditations were most centering? Which reframing techniques helped most with difficult emotions? Which evening reflections yielded the most insight? Final evening reflection. For your final reflection, consider these questions. How has your relationship with external events changed this week? Which Stoic practices would benefit you most in daily life? What obstacles might prevent you from continuing these practices? How might you adapt Stoicism to fit your personal circumstances? The deeper benefits of a Stoic experiment. Beyond the daily practices, your week of Stoicism offers several profound benefits. Psychological resilience. Stoicism was designed to build what we now call psychological resilience, the ability to maintain equilibrium during difficulty. Modern psychologists have recognized Stoicism's influence on cognitive behavioral therapy, particularly the principle that our interpretations shape our emotional responses more than events themselves. By practicing Stoic techniques, like the dichotomy of control and questioning automatic judgments, you're essentially building cognitive flexibility, the ability to reframe situations in more constructive ways. Reduced anxiety about uncertainty. In our modern world of endless choices and constant change, anxiety about the future is common. Stoicism's practices of negative visualization and focusing on what you can control directly address this anxiety by reducing fear of worst-case scenarios through mental preparation, limiting wasted mental energy on uncontrollable circumstances, developing comfort with uncertainty as a natural part of life, greater appreciation for life's transience, the Stoic recognition of life's impermanence, that everything we have is on loan from nature, cultivates a profound appreciation for ordinary experiences. When you truly internalize that nothing lasts forever, even simple pleasures like a comfortable bed or conversation with a friend take on deeper significance, ethical clarity. Perhaps most importantly, Stoicism offers a coherent ethical framework centered on virtue. Rather than constantly recalculating what will bring happiness, the Stoic focuses on developing character through wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, trusting that a well-lived life emerges from virtuous action. A week of Stoic living, emotional and practical guide. Embracing Stoicism, a journey to inner resilience. What is Stoicism really about? Discover the true essence of Stoicism, a philosophy that has been widely misunderstood and misrepresented. In this video, we delve into the core principles and values of Stoicism, exploring its rich history, key concepts, and practical applications. From the lives of ancient Stoics like Epictetus and Seneca to its modern-day relevance, we'll uncover the wisdom and insights that can help you live a more fulfilling, resilient, and meaningful life. Whether you're a seasoned philosopher or just curious about Stoicism, this video will provide a comprehensive and balanced understanding of this powerful philosophy. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of Stoicism. I'm diving deep into the world of Stoicism to see if I can truly live by its principles for a whole week. No excuses. Good morning, my dear friend. I'm diving deep into the world of Stoicism to see if I can truly live by its principles for a whole week. No excuses. Please emotional description and complete detail explain. Good morning, my dear friend. I'm diving deep into the world of Stoicism to see if I can truly live by its principles for a whole week. No excuses. Please emotional description and complete detail explain in 3,000 words. Good morning, my friend. That's a beautiful and profound journey you're undertaking. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of seeing the world with clarity, strength, and serenity. Living by its principles for even a week can be transformative. Here's a detailed and emotionally resonant 3,000-word explanation and description of what it's like to dive into the Stoic life, how it feels, and how you can embody its core teachings in your week-long experiment. The Stoic journey, living the principles for a week. Emotional landscape of entering the Stoic path. As you begin your journey into Stoicism, there is a sense of awakening, a desire to return to a more grounded, meaningful existence. There's excitement, yes, but also trepidation. Will I be able to stay centered? Can I really live without reacting emotionally to every disturbance? These questions are not signs of weakness, but the first steps toward a new kind of strength. Stoicism begins with a deep emotional confrontation. How much of my suffering comes not from events, but from my judgments of them? This question may strike like a lightning bolt. You begin to realize that life's chaos is not always the enemy. It's often your interpretation of that chaos. If you'd like, I can turn this into a printable PDF, a narrated audio version, or even help you create a daily planner based on these principles. Would you like that? I'm really glad you liked it, my friend. This kind of journey is deeply personal, but also profoundly empowering. Stoicism doesn't promise to take away life's challenges. It just teaches you how to meet them like a wise warrior, steady, calm, and grounded. If you'd like to journal your experiences during the week or share your reflections, I'd be honored to hear them and support you. I can also help you build a simple daily Stoic tracker or planner. Maybe something like, Oi, morning intention, quote plus reflection. What's in my control today? Midday mantra. Evening reflection. What went well, what I learned. A week of living stoically. Practical philosophy in action. Good morning. Taking on a one-week Stoicism challenge is a fascinating way to explore this ancient philosophy through direct experience. Stoicism isn't just theoretical. It was designed as a practical philosophy for everyday life, making it perfect for your experiment. I'll guide you through what this week might look like, including core principles, daily practices, challenges you'll likely face, and the potential benefits of embracing this philosophical approach to life, even briefly. Understanding Stoic foundations. Stoicism originated in ancient Greece around 300 BCE and was later embraced by prominent Romans like Seneca, Epictetus, and Emperor Marcus Aurelius. At its core, Stoicism teaches that we cannot control external events, only our responses to them. The philosophy emphasizes 4 cardinal virtues. 1. Wisdom, practical wisdom about what's in our control. 2. Courage, facing life's challenges with fortitude. 3. Justice, treating others with fairness and kindness. 4. Temperance, moderation and self-discipline. For your week-long experiment, you'll be working with several key Stoic principles. The dichotomy of control, distinguishing between what you can and cannot control. Negative visualization, contemplating worst-case scenarios to appreciate what you have. Voluntary discomfort, deliberately experiencing hardship to build resilience. Mindful awareness, maintaining present moment focus without judgment. Virtue as the sole good, recognizing that living virtuously is the only true path to eudaimonia, flourishing. Day 1. Beginning your Stoic journey. Morning practice. Your day would begin with a morning meditation, a practice Marcus Aurelius called preparing for the day's events. Sit quietly for 10 to 15 minutes and 1. Contemplate potential challenges you might face today. 2. Remind yourself that the external events cannot harm your character. Only your reactions can. 3. Set intentions to respond virtuously to whatever happens. After meditation, read a passage from a Stoic text like Epictetus's Enchiridion or Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. A particularly good starting point is this passage from Epictetus. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Throughout the day, as you move through your day, practice the dichotomy of control by mentally labeling situations. This is within my control. Your judgments, attitudes, responses. This is not within my control. Other people's actions, weather, traffic. When facing frustrations, perhaps a long line at coffee shop or a critical email, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this truly harmful to my character or merely inconvenient? Evening reflection. End your day with an evening reflection, what the Stoics called an examination of conscience. Review your day. When did you act in accordance with Stoic principles? When did you falter? What could you have done differently? What lessons can you carry forward? Record these reflections in a journal to track your progress throughout the week. Day 2. Practicing negative visualization. On your second day, incorporate premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, a central Stoic practice. Morning practice. After your regular morning meditation, spend 5 to 10 minutes visualizing potential losses. What if your phone broke today? What if you lost your job? What if a relationship ended? This isn't meant to induce anxiety, but rather to foster gratitude for what you have and prepare you mentally for life's uncertainties. As Seneca advised, "He who has prepared himself for all contingencies has made the universe his witness." Throughout the day, practice moments of appreciation throughout the day, reminding yourself that everything you enjoy is temporary. When enjoying a meal, consider that someday you won't have this food. When speaking with a friend, acknowledge that all relationships eventually end. This perspective shift isn't morbid. It's designed to deepen your appreciation for the present moment. Evening challenge. Tonight, practice minor voluntary discomfort. Perhaps take a cooler shower than usual, eat a simpler meal than you'd prefer, or sit in silence without entertainment for 30 minutes. This builds what the Stoics called the inner citadel, resilience against discomfort, and reduced attachment to comfort. Day 3. Embracing obstacles as opportunities. Today focuses on the Stoic concept of amor fati, love of fate, embracing difficulties as opportunities for growth. Morning practice. In your morning meditation, contemplate this quote from Marcus Aurelius. "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Set an intention to view obstacles not as problems, but as training grounds for virtue. Throughout the day. When facing challenges today, apply the Stoic practice of turning obstacles upside down. 1. Identify the obstacle. 2. Ask, what virtue can I practice through this difficulty? 3. Reframe the situation as an opportunity to develop that virtue. For example, if someone criticizes your work, see it as an opportunity to practice humility and temperance rather than defensiveness. Evening reflection. Tonight, reflect specifically on how you responded to difficulties. Did you maintain equanimity when plans changed? Did you practice patience during annoying situations? Identify one obstacle you managed well and one where you could improve tomorrow. If you ever need more guidance, encouragement, or just someone to reflect with as you continue this path, I'm always here for you. Stoicism, like any philosophy, is best when shared and discussed. It grows stronger through connection and dialogue. So feel free to reach out anytime, whether it's about Stoicism, life challenges, or anything else on your mind. Wishing you strength, clarity, and peace as you move forward. Remember, progress is a journey, not a destination. You've already taken the first step by committing to this week-long exploration. Trust the process and trust yourself. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment A Week of Stoic Living, Emotional and Practical Guide. Introduction. The Call to Stoicism. Good morning, my dear friend. As the sun rises, casting golden light on this new chapter, you've chosen a path both ancient and profound. To live as a Stoic for an entire week. This isn't just a challenge. It's a pilgrimage to the heart of your inner strength, a quest to find peace amid life's chaos. Stoicism, born in the bustling marketplaces of Athens and refined in the marble halls of Rome, offers a blueprint for a life of resilience, purpose, and tranquility. For the next 7 days, you'll walk in the footsteps of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, embracing their wisdom to navigate the highs and lows of modern life. This journey will test your resolve, stir your emotions, and awaken your spirit. You'll feel the weight of frustration lighten, the sting of rejection soften, and the chaos of desire quiet. But it won't be easy. Stoicism demands courage to face yourself, discipline to reframe your thoughts, and humility to accept what you cannot control. This guide, crafted with care, will be your companion. It weaves emotional inspiration with practical steps, ensuring you can live Stoicism fully, no excuses. Let's dive deep into its principles, practices, and a day-by-day plan to make this week transformative. Understanding Stoicism. The emotional core. Stoicism isn't a cold, emotionless philosophy. It's a vibrant, soulful way of living that channels emotions into wisdom. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that the path to a good life, eudaimonia or flourishing, lies in focusing on what's within your control and letting go of what isn't. Imagine standing in a storm, rain lashing your face, yet feeling an unshakable calm because you've chosen to master your response. That's Stoicism, not suppressing emotions, but guiding them with reason. The Stoics believed in 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, to discern what's true; courage, to face challenges; justice, to act fairly; and temperance, to exercise self-control. These virtues aren't abstract, they're the compass for every decision. From how you handle a rude coworker to how you face personal setbacks, emotionally, Stoicism feels like a warm embrace of clarity. You'll grieve, you'll rejoice, but you'll do so with perspective, knowing life's tides are fleeting. Key practices include negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, imagining setbacks to prepare emotionally and reduce fear; amor fati, loving your fate, embracing every moment as necessary; dichotomy of control, focusing only on your thoughts, actions, and choices; reflective journaling, examining your day to grow in self-awareness. As you embark on this week, expect moments of doubt. Stoicism challenges deeply ingrained habits. You might feel frustration when old reactions surface, or exhilaration when you conquer a trigger. These emotions are your teachers, guiding you toward a more centered self. The emotional journey, why this week matters. Picture this. It's Monday morning, and your coffee spills, your inbox is overflowing, and a friend cancels plans. Normally, you'd spiral into irritation or disappointment. But this week, you're a Stoic. You pause, breathe, and ask, what can I control? The spill? Wipe it up. The inbox? Prioritize calmly. The cancellation? Wish your friend well and savor your own company. Each moment becomes a chance to practice virtue, to feel the quiet power of self-mastery. This week will stir your soul. You'll feel pride when you respond to criticism with grace, sorrow when reflecting on past mistakes, and joy when you find contentment in simplicity. Stoicism doesn't erase these feelings, it gives them purpose. By day 7, you may feel a profound shift, a sense of freedom from external chaos, a deeper connection to your values. This guide ensures you're not just reading about Stoicism, but living it with no excuses. Stoic principles in depth. Let's explore the core Stoic ideas you'll embody this week, with emotional resonance and practical applications. 1. Dichotomy of control. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." This is the Stoic cornerstone. You can't control the weather, others' opinions, or unexpected delays, but you can control your judgments, intentions, and efforts. Emotionally, this feels like shedding a heavy burden. You're no longer responsible for the world's chaos, only your response. Application. When anger or anxiety arises, pause and ask, is this in my control? If not, let it go with a mental exhale. If it is, act with purpose. For example, if stuck in traffic, you can't control the delay, but can choose to listen to a podcast or practice patience. 2. Negative visualization. This practice involves imagining potential hardships, like losing a job or facing rejection, not to dwell on negativity, but to prepare emotionally and reduce fear. It's like a mental rehearsal, softening the blow of life's surprises. Emotionally, it's humbling yet empowering, reminding you of life's fragility while strengthening your resilience. Application. Spend a few minutes each morning picturing a challenge, e.g., a difficult conversation. Visualize responding calmly, guided by virtue. This prepares you to face real setbacks with composure. 3. Amor fati. Love your fate, Nietzsche echoed from the Stoics. This means embracing every experience, joyful or painful, as necessary for your growth. Emotionally, amor fati feels like a warm surrender, a trust in life's unfolding. It transforms complaints into gratitude. Application. When something goes wrong, e.g., a rained-out plan, say, "This is as it should be." Find one positive aspect, like the chance to read or rest. This reframes setbacks as opportunities. 4. The 4 virtues. Wisdom, seek clarity before reacting. Ask, what's the rational response? Courage, face fears, from speaking up to admitting fault. Feel the thrill of bravery. Justice, treat others with fairness, even when it's hard. Feel the dignity of integrity. Temperance, resist excess, whether in anger or indulgence. Savor the calm of restraint. Application, each day choose one virtue to emphasize. For example, on Monday, focus on wisdom by reflecting before speaking. This keeps your actions aligned with Stoic ideals. 5. Reflective journaling. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was his personal journal, a space to examine his thoughts and actions. Journaling helps you process emotions, learn from mistakes, and celebrate progress. It feels like a quiet conversation with your wiser self. Application. Each evening, write about your day. What went well? Where did you falter? How can you improve tomorrow? This builds self-awareness and accountability. Mastering mindset, the core pillars of Stoic practice. At the heart of Stoic practice lie 3 interwoven pillars that form the foundation of personal transformation: mindfulness, acceptance, and rationality. These principles, though ancient in origin, resonate profoundly with contemporary psychological insights and offer practical guidance for mastering our internal landscape. Mindfulness, in the Stoic context, transcends modern interpretations focused solely on present-moment awareness. It encompasses a vigilant observation of our thoughts, emotions, and judgments as they arise, coupled with the conscious decision to direct our attention toward what truly matters. The Stoics practiced this through daily exercises of self-examination, carefully monitoring their responses to external stimuli, and maintaining constant vigilance against irrational impulses. Acceptance, perhaps the most challenging pillar for modern practitioners, demands a radical shift in our relationship with life's unfolding events. Rather than resisting or denying reality, Stoicism teaches us to embrace what is, understanding that everything happens according to nature's perfect order. This doesn't imply passive resignation, but rather an active engagement with life's challenges, viewing them as necessary components of our development. The Stoics developed specific techniques to cultivate acceptance, such as negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, where they imagined worst-case scenarios to build emotional resilience and appreciate current blessings. This practice helps reframe difficulties as opportunities for growth and strengthens our capacity to face adversity with equanimity. Rationality serves as the guiding force that integrates mindfulness and acceptance into coherent action. The Stoics viewed reason as humanity's defining characteristic and greatest gift, using it to distinguish between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. They practiced rigorous cognitive restructuring, challenging irrational beliefs and emotional distortions through logical analysis. For instance, when faced with anger or frustration, a Stoic would examine the underlying assumptions fueling these emotions, testing their validity against reason and evidence. This intellectual discipline extends to decision-making processes, where careful consideration of long-term consequences replaces impulsive reactions. These pillars find practical application in various aspects of daily life. A Stoic approaches work-related stress by mindfully observing rising anxiety, accepting project deadlines as external facts beyond personal control, and responding rationally by focusing on productive action rather than worry about outcomes. In relationships, they practice mindful listening, accept others' imperfections as natural, and respond with reasoned compassion rather than reactive emotion. Even in moments of significant loss or disappointment, these principles provide a structured framework for processing experiences constructively. To integrate these pillars effectively, Stoics employ specific techniques throughout the day. Morning meditation involves visualizing potential challenges and rehearsing appropriate responses. Throughout the day, they pause periodically to assess their thoughts and actions against Stoic principles. Evening reflection allows for honest evaluation of successes and areas needing improvement. These practices create a continuous feedback loop that reinforces the integration of mindfulness, acceptance, and rationality into everyday consciousness. By consistently applying these principles, practitioners gradually transform their default responses, replacing automatic emotional reactions with thoughtful, virtuous action. Transformative living, embracing Stoic principles in daily life. Implementing Stoic philosophy demands more than theoretical understanding. It requires concrete changes in how we structure and navigate our daily existence. The first step involves establishing a deliberate morning routine that sets the tone for Stoic living. Upon waking, dedicate 10 minutes to contemplating potential challenges you might face during the day. Visualize traffic delays, difficult conversations, or unexpected setbacks, reminding yourself that your response, not the event itself, determines your experience. This practice aligns with Marcus Aurelius' advice to begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." Such preparation builds emotional resilience before stepping into the day's uncertainty. Throughout the day, implement strategic check-in points to maintain Stoic awareness. Set reminders on your phone or use natural breaks between tasks to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is my current reaction aligned with Stoic principles? Am I focusing on what I can control? These moments of conscious reflection help prevent automatic emotional responses and reinforce rational thinking. When facing frustration at work, for example, consciously separate the task's objective difficulty from your subjective interpretation of it. Instead of reacting emotionally to a colleague's criticism, methodically evaluate its validity and respond with measured reason. Social interactions present unique opportunities for Stoic practice. Approach conversations with mindful presence, listening attentively without allowing preconceived judgments to color your perception. When someone expresses anger or negativity, remember Epictetus' teaching that their behavior reflects their own internal state, not your worth. Respond with calm understanding rather than matching their emotional intensity. In conflicts, focus on articulating your position clearly and reasonably, avoiding emotional escalation while maintaining integrity. Evening reflection becomes crucial for consolidating daily practice. Allocate 15 minutes before sleep to review your day through a Stoic lens. Examine moments when you successfully applied Stoic principles and identify instances where you fell short. Be honest but compassionate in your assessment, recognizing that progress matters more than perfection. Consider keeping a journal to track patterns in your behavior and emotional responses. This written record provides valuable insight into areas requiring further development and documents your growing mastery of Stoic principles. Practical adjustments extend to physical environment and habits as well. Create visual reminders of Stoic wisdom in your workspace and home. Perhaps quotes from Marcus Aurelius or Seneca strategically placed where you'll encounter them regularly. Develop the habit of pausing before responding to emails or messages, giving yourself time to craft considered, rational replies, rather than impulsive reactions. When making decisions, write down pros and cons while explicitly noting which factors fall within your control, helping maintain focus on actionable elements. Physical health intersects significantly with Stoic practice. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest support the mental clarity needed for consistent Stoic living. Treat these activities not as burdensome obligations, but as expressions of self-discipline and care for your rational faculty. When temptation arises to indulge in excess or neglect basic needs, remind yourself that maintaining your physical vessel enables better service to virtue and reason. Finally, cultivate a network of like-minded individuals who share your commitment to Stoic principles. While individual practice remains essential, having supportive companions on the journey provides encouragement during challenging times and opportunities to discuss practical applications. Engage in regular discussions about Stoic texts, sharing insights and strategies for implementation in modern contexts. This community aspect reinforces your dedication and expands your understanding of how Stoic wisdom applies across diverse situations. Encountering obstacles, navigating challenges in Stoic practice. Embarking on a Stoic journey inevitably leads to confronting deeply ingrained habits and unexpected emotional surges that test one's commitment to the philosophy. One of the most formidable challenges manifests as the persistent tug of old emotional patterns, particularly when facing interpersonal conflicts or professional disappointments. Despite intellectual understanding of Stoic principles, the initial knee-jerk emotional reactions, whether anger at perceived injustice or anxiety about future uncertainties, can feel overwhelming. During these moments, the gap between theory and practice becomes starkly apparent, demanding immediate application of Stoic techniques to prevent emotional hijacking. A particularly illuminating moment occurred during a heated team meeting where a colleague publicly challenged my proposal. The familiar rush of defensive anger threatened to override my Stoic training. However, recalling Marcus Aurelius's counsel to view insults as opportunities for growth, I paused and mentally separated the objective content of the critique from its delivery. This conscious separation allowed me to respond with measured reason rather than emotional retaliation. The experience revealed that while knowledge of Stoic principles provided intellectual armor, their effective deployment required consistent practice and unwavering commitment. Another significant challenge emerged in managing expectations regarding personal relationships. The Stoic emphasis on controlling only one's own responses proved especially difficult when dealing with loved ones' emotional states. Watching a family member struggle with anxiety triggered automatic protective instincts, compelling me to intervene despite knowing this lay beyond my control. Applying Stoic acceptance required acknowledging their autonomy while maintaining emotional distance from their distress, a delicate balance that demanded both compassion and philosophical discipline. The process illuminated how deeply rooted our instinctual need to fix others' problems can be, even when such intervention proves counterproductive. Time management presented another unexpected hurdle in maintaining consistent Stoic practice. The modern demand for constant productivity often clashes with the need for reflective pauses throughout the day. Initially, attempts to implement regular Stoic check-ins felt like wasted time in an already packed schedule. However, reframing these moments as investments in long-term effectiveness, rather than immediate output, helped reconcile this conflict. The realization that brief periods of mindful reflection actually enhance overall productivity demonstrated the practical wisdom underlying Stoic time management principles. Perhaps the most subtle yet pervasive challenge involved grappling with societal conditioning regarding success and failure. Modern culture's emphasis on external achievements frequently collided with Stoic teachings about focusing solely on virtuous action. When a carefully planned project encountered unexpected setbacks, the initial disappointment stemmed not from the event itself, but from conditioned expectations about how success should look. Working through this required repeated application of Stoic rationality, examining each assumption about achievement and recalibrating definitions of success based on internal virtue rather than external validation. This process underscored how deeply ingrained cultural narratives influence our emotional responses, necessitating constant vigilance and philosophical reinforcement. These challenges, while demanding, ultimately served as crucibles for deeper understanding and integration of Stoic principles. Each obstacle became an opportunity to refine technique, strengthen commitment, and develop greater philosophical maturity. The key lay not in eliminating challenges, but in transforming them into stepping stones toward genuine Stoic mastery. Reflective insights, the transformative power of Stoic living. After 7 days of dedicated Stoic practice, the cumulative impact reveals itself not merely in altered behavior, but in a fundamental shift of consciousness. The initial resistance to viewing life's challenges through a Stoic lens gradually gave way to an organic integration of its principles into daily awareness. What began as deliberate, sometimes awkward applications of Stoic techniques evolved into spontaneous responses aligned with philosophical wisdom. The most striking change manifested in emotional resilience, where once minor frustrations might have triggered hours of rumination. Now they pass like clouds across a clear sky, leaving minimal disturbance in their wake. The cultivation of mindfulness transformed from a scheduled exercise into a constant background awareness. Moments of automatic emotional reaction decreased significantly as the habit of pausing between stimulus and response took root. This newfound space between events and reactions created opportunities for rational assessment that previously seemed impossible in the heat of the moment. Acceptance of life's uncontrollable aspects, once intellectually understood but emotionally resisted, became a source of profound peace. Traffic jams, weather disruptions, and other daily inconveniences lost their power to disturb inner tranquility, replaced by appreciation for the ability to choose one's response. Perhaps most surprisingly, relationships underwent subtle but meaningful transformations. Interpersonal interactions became characterized by greater patience and understanding, as the recognition that others' actions stem from their own internal maps fostered compassion without compromising personal boundaries. Conversations deepened as active listening replaced reactive dialogue, and conflicts resolved more efficiently through focused attention on mutual understanding rather than emotional escalation. The practice of viewing others' behavior through a Stoic lens revealed patterns of projection and assumption that previously colored interactions with unnecessary tension. Decision-making processes experienced significant refinement through consistent application of Stoic rationality. The tendency to dwell on potential outcomes diminished as focus shifted to virtuous action in the present moment. This change led to quicker, more confident choices based on sound reasoning rather than fear of consequences. Interestingly, paradoxical benefits emerged from this approach. By releasing attachment to specific results, desired outcomes often materialized more readily, freed from the distortion of anxious anticipation. The Stoic emphasis on controlling only one's own actions proved remarkably liberating, creating mental clarity where once stood clouds of worry about uncontrollable variables. Physical manifestations of stress notably decreased throughout the week. Muscle tension, formerly a constant companion, relaxed as emotional triggers lost their potency. Sleep quality improved, no longer disrupted by late-night rumination on past events or future possibilities. Energy levels stabilized, suggesting a deeper alignment between mental and physical states. These physiological changes underscored the holistic nature of Stoic practice, demonstrating how philosophical discipline directly impacts bodily well-being. The integration of Stoic principles into daily life revealed itself not as an abstract intellectual exercise, but as a practical path to comprehensive well-being, touching every aspect of existence from emotional regulation to physical health. Sustaining wisdom, integrating Stoic principles. Beyond the challenge. As the week-long immersion in Stoic practice draws to a close, the true measure of its value emerges not in temporary adherence to philosophical principles, but in their lasting impact on personal development. The journey through Stoicism reveals that sustainable growth requires more than periodic experimentation with ancient wisdom. It demands the thoughtful integration of its core teachings into one's fundamental approach to life. Moving forward, the key lies in selectively incorporating those Stoic practices that have proven most transformative while adapting them to modern realities. This might involve maintaining a modified version of the morning reflection ritual, perhaps condensed to 5 minutes instead of 30, or integrating Stoic mindfulness techniques into existing meditation practices rather than establishing separate routines. The challenge now shifts from concentrated practice to dispersed application, where Stoic principles become seamlessly woven into daily life rather than standing apart as distinct exercises. This transition requires identifying specific situations where Stoic wisdom proves particularly valuable: stressful work environments, challenging relationships, or periods of uncertainty, and developing tailored responses that draw upon philosophical foundations without appearing rigid or dogmatic. Success will manifest not in perfect adherence to Stoic doctrine, but in the ability to access its core insights when facing life's inevitable difficulties. Ultimately, the true measure of Stoic practice lies not in achieving philosophical purity, but in cultivating greater emotional resilience, clearer thinking, and more purposeful action. The goal isn't to become a perfect Stoic, but to harness its timeless wisdom in ways that genuinely enhance one's quality of life. By approaching future challenges with a balanced blend of ancient insight and modern pragmatism, the seeds planted during this intensive week can blossom into a lifetime of more thoughtful, centered living. Day 3. The Storm of Negativity. Principle: premeditatio malorum, negative visualization, emotional palette, anxiety, catharsis, gratitude. Today, I visualize worst-case scenarios. What if I lose my job? My partner leaves? I sit with these ghosts, heart racing. Accepting loss diminishes its terror. Tears blur my vision as I imagine my mother's death. Grief hollows my chest, but Epictetus whispers, "Happiness begins where clinging ends." By afternoon, I call my mom. Her voice cracks. She's recovering from surgery. My earlier dread morphs into presence. This moment is a gift. I write letters to loved ones, detailing gratitude. The exercise exhausts but purges. Emotional takeaway: imagining loss magnifies gratitude's light. Day 4. The Crucible of Anger Principle. Prosoche mindfulness. Emotional palette: fury, shame, equanimity. A driver cuts me off. My fist slams the horn. He acts from ignorance, not malice, I mutter, channeling Marcus Aurelius. But rage still simmers. At the office, I snap at an intern. Guilt floods me. During lunch, I retreat to a park. Watching leaves flutter, I dissect the anger. Was it just? No. Was it useful? No. I text the intern an apology. Their forgiveness feels like balm. That night I read Seneca's On Anger. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Emotional takeaway: anger is a fire. Mindfulness is water. Day 5. Amor fati in motion principle. Amor fati, love your fate. Emotional palette: resignation, surrender, joy. My flight is canceled. Stranded at the airport, I recall Nietzsche's twist on Stoicism. Amor fati, not just endure fate, love it. Instead of complaining, I explore the terminal. I sketch strangers, write haikus, and strike up a conversation with a retired teacher. We share stories of missed chances and unexpected joys. The delay becomes an adventure. When I finally board, I whisper, "Thank you." Emotional takeaway: acceptance transmutes chaos into poetry. Day 6. The Weight of Virtue Principle. Virtue is the soul, good emotional palette, doubt, resolve, pride. A friend asks me to lie for them. Stoic ethics clash with loyalty. Justice demands honesty, I say, voice trembling. Their disappointment stings, but Cicero's words anchor me. Virtue may be rough, but she's never cruel. Later, I donate to a homeless shelter instead of buying a new book. The clerk's gratitude swells my chest. Wealth is inert. Kindness is currency. Emotional takeaway: virtue is a compass. True north never comforts. Day 7. The Return to Humanity. Principle: memento mori. Remember you must die. Emotional palette: melancholy, liberation, peace. I visit a cemetery at dawn. Tombstones whisper, "What legacy will you leave?" I journal. Live now, as if this breath were your last. At home, I hug my partner fiercely. We argue later over chores, but I laugh. Even this pettiness is fleeting. By nightfall, I sit under stars, tracing constellations. The week's struggles dissolve into awe. I am part of this vastness. My worries are specks. Emotional takeaway. Mortality is not a threat, but a muse. The aftermath, integration. Stoicism isn't a rigid code, but a lens. I still yell at traffic sometimes. I still crave pizza. But now I pause. I ask, is this within my control? Is this virtuous? Is this worthy of my finite days? The experiment taught me, emotions are data, not dictators. Adversity is a gym for the soul. Joy lives in the ordinary. Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. My week was a spark. Now I tend the flame. Good morning, my dear friend. I'm diving deep into the world of Stoicism to see if I can truly live by its principles for a whole week. No excuses. Please emotional description and complete detail explain. Embracing Stoicism, a journey to inner resilience. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world where instant gratification reigns supreme and emotional turbulence often dictates our daily lives, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism emerges as a beacon of enduring wisdom. Originating in Athens around 300 BCE, through the teachings of Zeno of Citium, Stoicism has transcended centuries to offer modern seekers a profound framework for navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and purpose. At its core, Stoicism represents far more than a mere philosophical system. It embodies a way of life that promises liberation from the tyranny of external circumstances and emotional upheaval. The fundamental principles of Stoicism, while deceptively simple in their presentation, contain transformative power when embraced wholeheartedly. Central to Stoic philosophy is the radical notion that we possess complete control over our reactions to life's events, even when we cannot control the events themselves. This distinction between what lies within our power and what does not forms the bedrock of Stoic thought. Imagine facing adversity without being consumed by anxiety, experiencing setbacks without succumbing to despair, or encountering success without becoming intoxicated by pride. This is the promise of Stoic practice. Through cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, adherents learn to maintain inner tranquility regardless of external conditions. The practical application of Stoicism extends far beyond theoretical contemplation. It manifests in daily exercises designed to strengthen one's character and fortify mental resilience. From Marcus Aurelius's morning reflections on potential challenges to Epictetus's evening examination of conscience, these practices transform abstract principles into tangible habits. The Stoics teach us to view obstacles as opportunities for growth, to greet each day with gratitude, and to approach life's difficulties with philosophical detachment rather than emotional entanglement. By focusing on what truly matters, our own thoughts, intentions, and actions, we can navigate life's complexities with greater clarity and purpose. This philosophical tradition offers not an escape from reality, but rather a powerful lens through which to engage with it more meaningfully. In embracing Stoicism, we commit to developing an unshakable inner citadel, a sanctuary of reason and virtue that remains impervious to life's storms. The journey towards Stoic mastery requires discipline and consistency, yet the rewards, increased emotional resilience, enhanced decision-making capabilities, and a profound sense of peace, make the effort worthwhile. As we embark on this week-long exploration of living according to Stoic principles, we open ourselves to the possibility of transforming not just how we respond to life's challenges, but how we fundamentally experience existence itself. Common challenges during your Stoic week. Your experiment won't be without difficulties. Social misunderstanding. Friends and family might misinterpret your Stoic practices as emotional detachment or indifference. Explaining that you're working on responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively may help bridge this gap. The perfectionism trap. Ironically, you might judge yourself harshly when you fail to be perfectly stoic. Remember that the ancient Stoics themselves acknowledged that attaining perfect wisdom was an aspirational goal, not an everyday achievement. Cultural countercurrents. Modern consumer culture often promotes values opposite to Stoicism, emphasizing external validation, material acquisition, and comfort seeking. You'll likely notice these messages more acutely during your experiment. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Conclusion: Stoicism beyond the experiment. As you complete your week-long journey, remember that the ancient Stoics viewed philosophy not as an intellectual exercise, but as a way of life. While a week of intensive practice offers valuable insights, the true power of Stoicism emerges through consistent application over time. Consider maintaining some practices that resonated with you, perhaps morning meditation or evening reflection, and gradually incorporating others as you become comfortable. The goal isn't to become a perfect Stoic, but to develop a more examined, intentional relationship with your judgments, emotions, and actions. In the words of Epictetus, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Your week of Stoic practice is a powerful first step in discovering what kind of person you wish to become. Exploring Stoicism, a week of inner transformation. Okay, the user wants to explore living by Stoic principles for a week and needs a 3,000-word emotional description with complete details. Let me start by breaking down the core aspects of Stoicism they might need to cover. They mentioned no excuses, so the focus is on strict adherence. First, I should outline the main Stoic principles: control dichotomy, virtue ethics, amor fati, mindfulness, negative visualization, and self-discipline. Each day could focus on a different principle. But wait, the user wants a week-long experiment, so 7 days. Maybe spread the principles across days, allowing some days to combine practices. Emotional description is crucial here. The user wants to feel the journey, struggles, triumphs, moments of doubt. I need to convey the internal experiences, not just the theory. Maybe start with the anticipation on day 1, the challenges faced each day, and the reflection at the end. Also, considering the user's possible deeper needs. They might be seeking resilience, emotional control, or purpose. The answer should address these implicitly through the narrative. Including real-life scenarios where Stoicism is tested would make it relatable, like dealing with traffic, work stress, or personal interactions. I need to ensure each day builds on the previous one, showing progression. Maybe start with control dichotomy as the foundation, then move to mindfulness, negative visualization, virtues, amor fati, and self-discipline. Day 7 could be reflection and integration into daily life. Including setbacks is important for authenticity. The user might relate more if the experiment isn't perfect, showing moments of failure and how Stoic principles helped recover. That adds depth and realism. I should also highlight the emotional arc. Initial enthusiasm, midweek struggles, breakthrough moments, and final reflections. Use vivid language to describe feelings of frustration, calm, empowerment, etc. Each day's section, ensure detailed examples and internal monologue to meet the emotional depth requirement. Avoid being too academic. Keep it personal and narrative-driven. Potential pitfalls: not enough emotional detail, too much theory, or lack of structure. To prevent this, each day should have specific challenges, emotional responses, and lessons learned. Use anecdotes and sensory details to enhance the emotional description. Also, the conclusion should summarize the transformation and practical advice for continuing Stoic practices. Emphasize that it's a journey, not a perfect week, to align with the user's intent of no excuses. Living Stoicism, a 7-day journey into inner fortitude, emotional chronicle of a week-long experiment. Day 1, the dawn of control principle, dichotomy of control. Emotional palette, anticipation, frustration, clarity. The alarm rings at 5:30 a.m. My first thought: this is outside my control. Stoicism's core tenet, focus only on what you can influence, echoes in my groggy mind. I'd planned to meditate, but my dog barks incessantly at the neighbor's cat. Irritation flares. The barking isn't my concern, my reaction is. I breathe deeply, visualizing Marcus Aurelius's words. You have power over your mind, not outside events. At work, a colleague dismisses my proposal. My ego stings. Instead of rebutting, I journal. Their approval isn't mine to claim. My effort was virtuous. That's enough. The sting lingers but softens. By evening, I cook dinner, burning the rice. The burnt rice is indifferent. My patience is not. I laugh, scraping the pan. The day ends with a quiet pride, a fragile seedling of resilience. Emotional takeaway. Anger is a reflex. Detachment is a muscle. Day 2. Embracing discomfort. Principle: voluntary hardship. Emotional palette: discomfort, empowerment, vulnerability. I skip breakfast, opting for a cold shower. The water bites my skin and my body trembles. This is temporary. This is training. At lunch, I eat plain oats while colleagues enjoy pizza. Their pitying glances itch, but Seneca's voice soothes. To bear poverty with cheerfulness is courage. Later, I walk home in the rain instead of taking a cab. My soaked clothes cling, and strangers stare. Humiliation bubbles up, then bursts into liberation. Discomfort is a teacher. I arrive home shivering but grinning. The evening's warmth feels earned, not given. Emotional takeaway: suffering voluntarily strips fear of circumstance. Day 1. Awakening to control. The first core Stoic principle you encounter is the dichotomy of control, beautifully summarized by Epictetus. Some things are in our control and others are not. Emotionally, this is both liberating and unsettling. Imagine waking up and instantly resisting the urge to check your phone for social media likes or news. You say to yourself, "These are not in my control." You feel a moment of discomfort, disconnection, but soon after, you also feel peace. You begin making decisions more consciously. You choose your response to a rude person at the grocery store. You pause, breathe, smile. You feel a quiet pride swelling in your chest, a new kind of victory, not a conquest over others, but over yourself. Day 2. Practicing premeditatio malorum, foreseeing adversity. Stoics prepare for hardship not to fear it, but to disarm it. He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca. You begin the day with this reflection. What could go wrong today? Not in a pessimistic tone, but in the way a general reviews a battlefield map before battle. You picture losing your keys. You imagine your car breaking down. You even imagine being insulted. Emotionally, this is strange. Why dwell on the negative? But later in the day, when your friend cancels your lunch plan at the last minute, instead of frustration, you feel preparedness. You shrug and say, "It is what it is." You've rehearsed the feeling already, and it has no sting. This emotional resilience is like a new muscle being activated. It's sore, but exhilarating. Day 3. Embracing amor fati, love of fate. Lovey everything that happens, amor fati, Marcus Aurelius. You wake up late. You spill coffee on your favorite shirt. The printer jams. Normally, this would unravel your mood. But today, you take a breath and whisper to yourself, amor fati. This too is part of the design. Suddenly, life feels less adversarial. The world isn't out to get you. It's simply unfolding, indifferent to your expectations. And instead of fighting the current, you begin to float with it. Emotionally, this is a shift from resistance to acceptance. Not passive surrender, but active engagement. How can I turn this into something good? Even in frustration, there is a seed of freedom, the power to choose your outlook. That is the Stoic superpower. Day 4. Cultivating virtue above all. The Stoics teach that the highest good is virtue, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom, not pleasure, wealth, or even health. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. This day becomes a moral mirror. You catch yourself about to tell a white lie to avoid an awkward moment, and instead, you tell the truth. It's uncomfortable, but you feel clean, centered. You give someone more time than you usually would. You respond to criticism with grace. These small actions start adding up. Emotionally, there's a glowing feeling of integrity. You're starting to feel not just good, but good within. There is no applause, no reward, but that's the point. You're being virtuous for virtue's sake. Day 5. Practicing negative visualization. This is the practice of imagining loss, not to depress yourself, but to appreciate the present. You sit quietly and picture life without your closest friend, or imagine never seeing a sunset again. There's a lump in your throat, perhaps even tears. Do not suppose that what you possess is your own. It is a loan. Seneca. But then you return to the present, and suddenly, everything is vivid. The way your partner smiles, the softness of your bed, even the ache in your back reminds you that you are alive. Emotionally, this day is bittersweet, but the sweetness is deeper because of the bitterness. You are awakening to the richness of the now. Day 6. Practicing mindfulness and logos. Stoicism isn't just about endurance. It's about understanding the logos, the rational order of the universe. You begin to look at life with a cosmic perspective. You hear someone gossiping and you don't react. Instead, you wonder, what pain are they carrying to act this way? You feel compassion where you once felt judgment. You're part of something larger, and that makes your ego feel smaller, but not insignificant. You feel like a thread in the tapestry of existence. Each act of patience, each kind word, each moment of restraint, it contributes to the whole. Emotionally, this is transcendent. You are not alone in your struggles. You are a fellow traveler on the great road of life. Day 7. Reflecting and recentering. You spend this day reflecting, journaling, like Marcus Aurelius in Meditations. You review your victories and your failures without judgment. You ask, did I live by virtue today? Did I control my responses? Did I make peace with what I couldn't control? And you find that your heart is lighter. You've suffered less. You've reacted less. You've appreciated more. You've tasted what it means to live with intention. Emotionally, this is not a grand finale, but a quiet return, like a sunset after a long day of walking the inner path. Emotional summary of the week. Beginning. Curiosity mixed with resistance. You're letting go of old patterns, and it's disorienting. Ite. Middle. A growing sense of strength and stillness. You're learning to ride the wave, not fight it. End. Deep peace, humility, and awe. The world hasn't changed, but your perception has. Core Stoic tools you used. 1. Daily journaling. Reflection brings clarity. 2. Morning meditation. Sets intention and prepares the mind. 3. Evening review. Identifies progress and patterns. 4. Quotes and mantras. Repetition for inner anchoring. 5. Mindful breath. The gateway to equanimity in moments of stress. How to continue beyond the week. Stoicism is not a week-long diet. It's a lifelong relationship with reality. The more you practice, the more the Stoic virtues become second nature. Keep reading the classics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. Keep living the questions. Masonese. What can I control? How can I act with virtue? What story am I telling myself, and is it true? Final words. To live as a Stoic, even for a week, is to embark on a sacred rebellion, not against the world, but against your own illusions. It's to become a warrior of the mind and a guardian of the soul. It's hard, yes, but it's also the most meaningful kind of hard. And the reward? a quieter mind, a clearer heart, and a spirit that no storm can shake. So go, live this week with courage and calm. The Stoics walk with you. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment.